Hello, welcome. I hope you guys are doing okay at home. It's been a struggle, but having the plants around has been really helpful. I don't know what I would do without this plant hobby. Anyway, let's get into some Hoyas. The first Hoya I wanted to talk to you guys about is my Polyneura. Let me see if you guys can see. So I propagated this, when did I make that video? I want to say about like a little bit over 8 weeks ago, I think. And it has grown all these roots. It is in semi-hydro. This container has, the holes that I drilled into them, so it helps flush it out. And I don't know if you guys remember, but most of these were one node cuttings. So it has grown a lot. I'm getting some yellow leaves, and I'm guessing is because I haven't been giving it enough nutrients. So I've been trying to add more nutrients to the water without like burning it. What have I been using? I've been using liquid dirt, which is the same thing as newt. I just got it, and I'm hoping that will help. It has dropped some leaves, and this is also curling a little bit. But overall, it seems really happy. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I'm just checking in. I have Dan's modding over there for me. So that is the Polyneura. Do you guys have any questions about this plant in particular? It's pretty easy to grow. It's one of the best, easiest Hoyas that I've grown so far, I think. Yeah, one of the fastest growers for sure. I'm like dripping water all over myself. That's why I'm like wiping it. Okay, here is the Hoya Massoni Eye, and it wasn't in semi-hydro. This jar, I actually got really lazy. I stopped drilling holes into them, and they've been fine. The only thing is when you tip it over to kind of flush it out, the balls might fall out. So I have like a, what do you call that? Let me show it to you. I'll be right back. What do you guys call this thing?
Itty bitty ladybug is wondering how you feel about soil versus leca.
Soil versus leca. For me, I kind of overwater my plants a lot. So having it in leca just makes it a lot easier for me. And I'm less likely to overwater it. And it's nice to see the roots. So I think that's a great quality about it. It also allows me to see the mealybugs because I've been having a mealybug problem. What else? And I guess no, I haven't seen any. I mean, I still have fungus gnats because I have soil for some of my other plants. But it seems like the fungus gnats are not able to grow in the leca medium, which is nice. What else do I like about it? I just feel like the Hoyas overall are just really happy in leca. Yeah, but it also could be like I wasn't getting the potting medium correct, right? So if I'm using too much, say, cocoa coir, then the medium's too wet, and then the Hoya's not, happy that way. The downside, I think, with leca is you can underwater, obviously, and that has happened. So I think it's just monitoring your watering is basically the key, I'd say. Does that answer your guys' question?
And two more questions.
Where's the second question?
One is about a Hoya that was purchased in moss, and another is about your Linearis.
Hold on, I'm trying to see. Why I want to plant it in soil, how should I approach that? Okay, so you bought a Hoya in moss and you want to transfer it to soil. I think the best way to do that is to try to remove as much of the moss from the roots as possible. And I think the reason why people suggest that is so that it doesn't stay super damp when it's inside, once you've potted up in soil. So just be careful with that. I don't actually like propagating in moss in general. I use perlite, and I think that achieves the same thing, if not better, because with perlite you can probably never get root rot unless you pour a bunch of water and it's sitting in water. Otherwise, it's fine. So yeah, remove as much the sphagnum moss as possible, and then you could plant it in a chunky medium. Okay, do you have the Linearis? Yes, I do. I can show it to you guys. So this is the only Linearis that I have. And I got this as a cutting, and then I cut them all down to a one node cutting. And actually, it's been struggling for me because I think I had it in my propagation box and it was too moist. So I think it wasn't growing because of that. And then I took it out, so now it just sits on the shelf behind me, and it's finally putting out some new growth. Some of them are really small, you won't be able to see them at all, but this is a little itty bitty baby leaf right there. Oh yeah, can you just leave the colander? Thanks. Yeah, so it seems pretty happy now that it's out of the box. You can see some new roots growing out there. But as far as like propagating Hoyas, I would say the Linearis has been the slowest for me so far. Well, there's one more Hoya that's super slow, but this one's pretty, it's up there. But I mean, I want to say it's been about 2 months since I've had this, and it hasn't died, so it hasn't rotted or anything. Because I imagine if this was in soil and I was doing the same thing, maybe some of these one node cuttings would have rotted by now, because they just haven't been really growing for me. But maybe the spraying is making it better. I do see like a bunch of little new stems growing. Okay. Can you use perlite instead of leca? I would say try it. I definitely think it's possible because perlite is actually even more airy in comparison to leca, and it does have the ability to retain moisture. So I think from that, yeah, I think it could work. What is the downside? I think the downside is when you're flushing it out, the perlite kind of floats. So you might end up getting perlite everywhere, which is why I was trying to show you guys that I put this colander in the sink, and then when I'm flushing it, I'm not worried that the balls are going. I shouldn't have done that. There's water on the table now. But you're not, yeah, so even if the balls fall, they're not going to fall down the drain. And so this kind of catches everything, which is nice. Okay, cleanup crew is coming.
Where's the big one?
It's over there, right there. No, over here. It's over here. It's yellow or orange, whatever. Sorry. Okay. Hi, have you ever tried to grow Hoya in sphagnum moss? Actually, I have. Let me go get this other project that I put together. I'll be right back. This is fun. Okay. I might only show them the other one. I'll just show them this one. Okay. So this is Hoya Serpent that I mounted about a month ago, I want to say, And what you're looking at is this is just some cocoa fiber that I ripped off of a planter liner. And then in between that, I kind of made like a sandwich with it. And so there is a layer of cocoa liner and then sphagnum moss and then cocoa liner again. And then I just used some fishing line to wrap it, to mount it onto here. So it just hangs over the sink like this. So this is this and another Hoya plank that I made, I'm growing in sphagnum moss. So does that answer your question? Yeah. So far, this Hoya, I would say that it is, so there's this new stem that's kind of growing, and I see a peduncle. So I guess it's happy. But you can also see, I don't know if it's easy for you guys to see this, but like these kind of died back from the shock of mounting it onto here. It dropped a couple of yellow leaves, but it's been okay. It hasn't been like actively growing. There's also not a lot of light over by the kitchen, so that could be one of the things that's, it's not super happy about. But it looks pretty good. What do you guys think? Okay. I purchased more perlite and the puffs are larger than smaller than regular one. Yeah, that's important. I just got 4 cubic feet of perlite that's coming to me. I don't know where I'm gonna put it. I think the bag is gonna be bigger than me. Okay. I would use pumice instead of perlite and try. Yeah. So I actually have never. Okay, what does it say? Would you try Linearis and perlite instead? Okay. Yeah, pumice. I've actually never used just pumice. It's kind of hard to get around here. I know I've researched it, and I know that you should be able to get some pumice from a farming place, so a place that supplies agricultural goods. And I haven't been to the shop that I want to go to yet, but if you can get it that way, it's actually a lot cheaper. Because I think they use pumice to dry out horse stables. I'm not entirely sure, but is it that, or was it something else? I don't know. Anyway, I did recently order some. I keep calling it Pond's, and that has pumice in it, and it seems like a nice solid rock, so it doesn't float. It kind of sinks. So I think that helps with what I was talking about earlier about the perlite. What else? My Hoya canosa has rooted already and just plain water, okay? Cool. Yeah, water propagation works. It's just not my preference. But I think, especially if you're putting it into semi-hydro, a lot of people say just use, water propagate it first and then transfer it to leca. For me, I have had, I would say, 100% success in propagating in just straight in leca. So, like, these Polynomia was, and yeah, it's been super happy. So, yeah, I guess it's just a personal preference. Thank you. Yeah, I was a little bit worried about mounting this, and I want to say that the maintenance for this is not great because I have to water it literally every other day. So it's a good thing I have it over by the sink and I just wet it, but this is a lot of work if you want to have more than, one of these. Oh, sorry about your internet connection. Well, the video will be up afterwards, so you should be able to watch it that way as well if you wanted to see what we talked about. I saw your Hoya Linearis video. Seriously consider transferring semi-hydro. I was wondering, do you think that worm casting can use as a fertilizer instead of a solution? I honestly don't know the answer to that question. Could you just use straight up worm casting? I know that liquid dirt, which is the fertilizer that I'm using now, has worm casting in it, but it also has other things. So you could try it and see how your Hoya responds. Yeah, it's hard to tell. Like, I would say that the Hoya Polynomia is my only Hoya that seems to be complaining about the lack of nutrients, like getting actual yellow leaves. Otherwise, all the other Hoyas seem to be okay, and I haven't been fertilizing them a lot. Oh, ponds. Can I show you guys the box? Let's see. It's actually really heavy. I think it weighed like 50 pounds. Okay. I just wanted to show you guys quickly. So, I think there's 3 types of minerals in here. And one of them is pumice. And it does actually come with, it's pre-fertilized. And the fertilizer is good for 6 months. But I recently actually planted some of my Hoyas into the ponds. This is what it looks like. It comes with this little cute scoop, as Doug from Vermont Hoya has shown us already. But yeah, so it's a nice heavy medium. So when you water it, it doesn't flow down, or flow up, I should say. I think I kind of like it. I do think it's a bit pricey. This box was 60 something. Yeah, 60 something. That included shipping though. So yeah. Yeah, so my plan with the ponds is, actually, I'll get one of the Hoyas and show you.
Do we have a follow-up question on the self-watering pots pertaining to that?
Okay. So this is Hoya Matilda. It is in the self-watering pot, and it's also in the ponds that I just showed you. I only had it here for maybe 3 days. It hasn't been that long. Can you guys see?
Potentially move the other, yeah.
Okay. Let's try that. Yeah, so it comes with this wick that you just thread through the bottom, and there's a little water reservoir, and you just put it in. The ponds is actually quite heavy because they're like little rocks. So I like the fact that it gives it a bit of weight. But what can I tell you about it so far? It seems to like it. It hasn't complained. I have actually 4 more other Hoyas in the same setup, and they all seem to be doing okay. But I honestly want to say it's too soon to really say. So I'll probably be doing another self-watering pot update maybe in another 4 weeks or so, once I have a better idea. Okay. Yeah, so on the pond's website, they will tell you that you can even put succulents in a self-watering pot. So I'm going to try that and see how that goes. Do you use a self-watering pots with it as well? Yeah, so I just answered that.
Yeah, read the questions out loud.
Okay, so the question is, what about orchid spray for the foliage feeding? I have not tried the orchid spray. I know a lot of people do it. I personally haven't, and I just been focused on fertilizing through the roots. I don't know. I just haven't tried it. My most satisfying Hoya to grow so far, I would definitely say the Hoya Linearis definitely surprised me, especially because of, well, first of all, it's really expensive to get, and then once you get it, you're so worried about it dying. But so far, I would say it's done really, really well, and it's grown really fast. So this has been one of my favorites. I really, really like this Hoya. What is it called again? The Hoya Mariana. I really like the shape of the leaves. I really like the colors. The new leaves, they have like this little shine to them. It's kind of like this dark blue green if you look really closely. Oh, sorry. Can you guys see? And I don't know, I just really love the wavy edges. It's really cool. What else? Is there any other questions? Yeah, okay. What else can I show you guys? I was gonna, my next, would you like it? I was gonna take the camera and kind of walk around and show you my setup and seeing if you guys have any questions. Okay, so let's do that.
Have you experienced any rotting in leca?
No, there has been no, I have not had any rotting issues in leca. Thank God. I have mealybug issues though. But that's a whole nother discussion.
And where do you recommend buying Hoyas online?
Hoyas online. I haven't actually had any luck with what is it, Gardini nursery or Gardino nursery. I don't remember the name. They release new stock, Hoya stocks every Thursday. I want to say 2 p.m. Central Time. I only remember this because somebody told me the other day. And they have a good selection of Hoyas there. There's also there's also Rick's. I did an unboxing from him. There's also Ted. I also did an unboxing with him. I'm probably gonna buy more cuttings from Ted later in the summer. Who else? I already said Rick. There's Ted. There's Gardino's, which I've never bought from. Who else is there? I don't know. I feel like a lot of times if you want a Hoya, it's really easy to just go on Facebook and put up a in search for post, and people will respond there. So yeah, those are the ways I would recommend. With the mealybugs, yeah, I might have to just do a separate video on that. I actually haven't been able to get rid of them. They keep coming back, and I actually killed some of my plants because I overdosed on the pesticide. Anyway, so I'm gonna talk about mealybugs in a separate video, so I will take you guys around. Okay? Did I answer everybody's questions so far?
Yeah, Chrissy says hi.
Hi! Okay. I'm gonna unplug the battery so it's gonna shake a little bit. Okay. So if you guys seen recently, we redid the shelf, so there it is. Let's look at these Hoyas that are still growing in these boxes.
We can see the microphone slightly.
Oh.
It's just dipping in the frame.
Should I just take it off?
Well,
I'm not
it's
going to be
okay.
able to control it all.
Yeah.
So I still keep some of my Hoyas in the box as long as, you know, they can fit in here without getting damaged. So a lot of the fuller ones, I've already moved them out of here. But I do think, as you've seen in my other videos, I've talked about that they do like the extra humidity, and it does really, I don't know, they just really like it. My rotundifolia, which is growing a lot, it's really happy in here. And it's getting really, really long, and it's just this one strand. I'm trying to figure out how to trellis it. So there's a little itty bitty babies. I transferred everybody into leca for the most part because I just really like growing it in this medium. And obviously I'm going to try ponds. I ordered more self-watering pots, yeah, last week, so they'll come next week. I shouldn't be complaining, but I'm so used to getting everything within like 2 or 3 days, and now I have to wait like an entire week, and I'm like, ah! I know, we're in a pandemic. This Hoya has been growing really well. I don't remember the name of this. Look. This is the Verticillata. This is a Hoya from Ted, so it's just a cutting. I don't know what's going on with this leaf. Underwatering, too much lack of nutrients. I don't know. Other folks, so this is definitely a bit of underwatering, but then I corrected it and this leaf looks a lot better. At least that's my theory. I don't know if you guys have a theory of why these leaves kind of grow all funky like this. And then this one's fine. But I have noticed when I use leca, the leaves actually are thinner, and I think it's due to underwatering. Okay, so this shelf, I really like the way this looks. I have my massive humidity tray that I put leca balls in, and so it creates a nice level of humidity for all the plants. And then I have the Hoyas up here. They are in these self-watering, look at this bloom. They are in the self-watering containers, but I'm not actually using the wick in them because I didn't put it in ponds. It's just in a regular medium. So I think that if you want to put Hoyas in self-watering pots and actually use them as self-watering, you're going to have to use something like ponds or a very, very chunky medium like just pumice or just perlite. Because otherwise I think it's just going to be too wet if there's like constant moisture. This Curtia is doing really well. It's finally trailing. I think it's actually grown a lot more since I took my Instagram photo for it. This is the Pupa Calyx. And this guy is out here because it has mealybugs, my princess. I don't have any peduncles on this guy. Okay. And then down here is just exactly the same setup. You know, I have my lower canopy plants, my peperomias, calatheas that don't need air quotes as much light. And then my Hoyas are up top closer to the LED light. I think they just enjoy the light, like stronger light, like here. You guys see this, sorry. I love how when you have it in brighter light, it gets these darker margins. It's super cute. Love this leaf. This plant, look at it. It was inside the propagation box and it grew this really long stem with no leaves. I really want to cut it off. I know you're not supposed to. Should I check for questions? Are there any?
No questions.
Okay. I got these 3 Hoyas recently from Bob Smalley. at a pretty reasonable price. I think this one's like, maybe it was like $12. This is the Regia, and this is the, what is this, the Fungi. This was like $10, I think. Yeah, pretty good, reasonable prices. My curry eye's grown a lot. I had to take it out of the propagation box, but I hope it continues to grow. My plan for it, I'm gonna actually put it out on my balcony, because I read that it likes, or it can tolerate full sun, and it actually really likes it. So I'm gonna try that. I'm also trying to see what other, oh, here's the Hoya Jennifer. Yep, there she is. That's Hoya Jennifer. You came right in time. Let's see if I can take it out. They get really tangled up because I don't really like to trellis them up. Can you guys see that? This ginormous leaf. It's really big. This leaf is like the size of my foot. Look at it. Can you guys see? Yeah. This newer growth is smaller. But this one is getting bigger. I don't know how long it takes them to get ginormous, but this is Hoya Jennifer. I actually got this from a friend. And she, I believe, bought it from Giardino's. Okay. Yep. Pupa Calyx. And then down here, what do I have? My pink princess. I know it's a Hoya, but look at that leaf. Okay. Yeah, this is the queen. It is not in, it is in the pot, but it's not in the, there's no wick underneath. This leaf just fell off. Oogie it is. It's been there forever. Hi, Julian. Okay. Alright, so that's this side. There's no Hoyas over here. Those are just other plants that I'm dealing with. Okay, let's move over here. So there's a lot of, I put a lot of my other Hoyas up top over here. This is a Crinkle 8, and it is blooming. You guys see that? I'm sure all the Carnosa blooms are the same, white with the pink center. It'd be nice to smell it. There's another Hoya that I can't remember the name. Oh, I'm going to show you guys this Hoya that I got recently. It's the Hoya obovata picta that I was able to get locally off a guy. Look at it. It's doing really well. I got it. It was actually he was growing it in sphagnum moss, and then I just removed all the moss and I put it into leca. And look, how long ago was this? Like 6 weeks? So it has all these new roots. The roots have actually already hit the bottom. Look at that. So pretty. Yeah, it's already putting out a new stem on both of them. Yeah, those were single cuttings. That's pretty much it for my Hoyas, even though, oh, sorry, here's another one. This is just a Carnosa. Everybody asks me, why is it so splashy? It came like this. I got it as a trade. So, I didn't do anything. The new growth is really pretty too. This plant was actually the woman's, it was her mother's, so that was really sweet. She was willing to give me a cutting of that. Oh, and my Lisa, I wanted to talk to you guys about it because one of them is growing like crazy. Look at this Lisa. I have 3 of them. I think I'm going to pot them all up into one pot. Oh, there's a mystery Hoya that I got from Taylor Greenhouses. Oh, right. Taylor Greenhouses is another place that I got a lot of my Hoyas from, but they mislabel their Hoyas a lot, so I would be careful. Which one is this one? I don't know the name of this guy, because this is one of the ones that they mislabeled. But it is in leca, and I do have it on the wick. So I was just testing it out to see if it would work. And it seems to be on the drier side, but I think Hoyas, you know, it's okay that Hoyas are kind of grown on a little, you know, not as moist. So I've just been keeping an eye on it. I'll put this back later. It's kind of hard to do this single-handed. Okay, I think that wraps it up. Unless you guys have any more questions. Oh, right, this is the other Lisa that's going crazy. I'm going to put it on a trellis. Oh, have you guys seen my circle trellis? Let's show you guys this. This is a Hoya, sorry for the camera movement. It's really hard to do everything with one hand. Okay, this is the Hoya Linearis. Can you guys see it? Yes, I got it from Taylor Greenhouses. And it's growing finally. It wasn't doing anything before. It sat around dormant for like, I want to say 4 months at least, if not longer. But I really like using the galvanized wire and making these hoops. It's really easy. Oh, I have one over here too. Well, several. This is Hoya Calyx. That's on a hoop. And this is another Matilda growing on the hoop. Just hanging out by the balcony. Okay, I'm gonna put you guys back down. I can show you my sunrise, which is also a really fun plant. Yeah, the sunrise has been growing really well. Is this the sunrise? No, this is the obscura. I keep calling it the sunrise. But when it gets closer to the light, the leaves get red. So that's really nice. Sun stress. Okay. Anything else? Okay, looks like we don't have any more questions. So I think that is it. I'm so happy that you guys joined me. And yeah, this was fun. If you'd like me to do this again for something else, I think maybe we could talk about that. You can leave it in the comments below. And I hope you guys stay safe. And I will see you next week. Thank you so much, guys, for coming. Bye!